What's up, everybody? We are doing a tube swap for an arcade game. So I've got a monitor that was given to me. This is a 19-inch. It's a Samsung monitor. It's a A48KRD82X. Blah blah blah. 48 is metric. It just means like 18.9 inches. Basically a 19-inch monitor. And then we've got this old guy that came out of our Dig Dug machine. Although it actually has burn-in, if I can turn it around, from Tron. You can kind of see the Tron elements in there and stuff. This tube is just basically dead. We need to get the tube from that guy into here and see if it works, see if it looks good. So that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to make sure everything's compatible. We're going to swap them out and show you what that looks like and hopefully get this not into Dig Dug. We put our Tutankham monitor into our Dig Dug, and so this one, if we get it working, will go into Tutankham. So let's get started. Alright, I got both these monitors up here where they're easier to reach. So here's our old one, here's the new to us one. How do we know if they're compatible? They're both 19 inches, so that's a good start. The next part would be down here at the end of the tube. This is a CR23 connection. It's got 9 pins on the outside and that funky looking shape on the end. If we look over here, we've got the exact same pattern. So that will mean that our chassis will be able to pop on there. Now we do need to test the yoke. The yoke is this guy here, to see if we could reuse this yoke. I don't think we can. The way to check it would be to put your multimeter on ohms, and then you check the vertical and the horizontal. So first, these two leads on the end here, 2.6 ohms. And then these on the end here, and that's 15.3. Now if we go over here to see what this reads, remember 2.6 and 15.3 or somewhere thereabouts. This is 3.3 and 39.3 ohms, almost 40 ohms. So definitely a very different resistance on this coil, this yoke here on the end. So what we'll need to do is take this yoke off, put it on our new tube, and we'll start disconnecting stuff and moving things over. Alright, we've removed the chassis from here to clean things up, and I'm working on getting the convergence rings off of it. These convergence rings are like a series of magnets, and they just sit on here and they're aligned in a particular way, and you can see the factory actually put a white stripe down the middle to make it obvious. Now the issue I ran into, typically you just loosen up this guy. This kind of holds over top of there and tightens down and holds it all in place. I got that loose, but then this didn't want to move. Once I pried it a little bit, all of these tabs here kind of broke off. Don't think it's the end of the world, but this, tape that they have here kind of just fused them. So I got to peel all this stuff off like this in order to get these convergence rings off, because it's got to be able to slide past that. Get this little piece here. And now, oh, there's still one little piece under here. Let's try. How's this for a camera view? There we go. Now it'll slide off. Now we need to remove the actual yoke coil. That should be a little bit easier. I've already loosened this up a little bit, and you can just kind of turn it a little bit. Now that it's clear, that can come off, and that's our yoke. This is the one we won't be using because we will need to use this yoke in order for it to work with our chassis. Same thing with the convergence rings. This set of convergence rings will go on this tube, so everything lines up properly to work with our K4900. Our next step is actually getting the monitor out of the metal frame, because we will need to reuse this frame to make it fit into our arcade cabinet. So this is just 4 3/8 bolts. They look like that. They're right here in the corners. I've loosened that one. I've already taken these bottom 2 off, and then I'll get this other one loose, and then we'll pull that. Alright, we got our new to us, I keep saying new to us, not new, but new to us monitor out of the frame, and that's sitting there. Now we kind of have to do things in reverse. Like I said, the chassis has already been removed here. I've loosened up these convergence rings and got that off. This we just loosen the yoke here. So just get this loose, and probably similar to the convergence rings, we just have to kind of break it up there. And once we can do it, we can twist this yoke right off and start the process of moving that over to the new tube. Same thing as with our other monitor, we need to get it out of the frame here so that we can put the new one into this frame. Again, get this loose, we'll remove all 4 of these bolts just like that and take this out, and we'll put the new tube in. Alright, we got the old tube over there. It has come out of that with the magic of video editing. Now we're going to take this new to us one and very carefully bring it over here. And we'll get this lined up and just screw those bolts back in. And then yeah, it's just as simple as lining it up, threading these back in, and then we'll be ready to start hooking everything back up to our new monitor and hopefully test it out and see if it's working. Alright, we have got our new monitor in the right frame. Now we can take our yoke and bring it back over here, and it went this way. Slide that back on, just kind of rock it back and forth like that until it goes into place. And then just tighten that up around there. And then same thing with our convergence rings. I have to go get a screwdriver over here to tighten it. This one didn't have a nice line, it had like a glue mark. A lot of times there'll be a line of glue there that holds all these rings in place. We're probably pretty close. And then we'll tighten this up for the convergence rings. And then the last step will be hooking the chassis up here, and then we can test everything. This is, like I said, the K4900 that came out of Dig Dug, and I haven't tested it fully, but it does have new caps. There was this on the side, it said 4900 gauntlet style, works, new caps. So I think this was serviced. I think it was just the tube that was bad on it. And this just slides right in there and there and gets screwed in. I think I actually have the screws over here. And this is going to be 1/4 inch socket. And we'll just tighten that in here. And then start plugging everything up. Alright, I'm going to plug the rest of this up and then we'll be able to test it. Ran into as I'm getting everything hooked in. We've got a lot of stuff plugged in. The ground strap that goes to the DAG wires here. But this DeGauss wire is not very long, and the actual pins for it are all the way on the left side of the chassis there, and it's just just like a couple inches short. So we are probably going to have to cut and extend these wires just a little bit to make it a little bit more convenient to go over there. Alright, so I've cut off some red and white wire, and I have these. I'm going to strip off a little bit on the ends here. And then I've got these. So the way these work is you put the wire in one side there, and then you would put the other wire in there. So we're going to snip off the connector on the end there and kind of extend these. And then we can clamp this down, and this is heat shrink on the ends there to hold it all together. So let's grab my snips here, and I'll just cut it right about here. Strip off a little bit on the end of each of these. This just saves me from having to repin a connector like this. Hopefully, this might be a little tight, but I think it's going to go in. And then Grab these, clamp that down. Now we got a nice connection there between those two, and I'll use the heat gun to clean up the ends there once I get the other one on. And then we'll do the same thing here, and we'll have a longer cable. Not perfect, but it'll work for our needs. Alright, and there we go. Now we've got a longer wire, and we could thread this through here and plug it in. So to do some initial testing, I just brought the cart over here and borrowed the power wires from the monitor, got it plugged in, and I've got it on my test pattern generator here to see what things look like. And I turned it on, and we have a red screen. So got to figure out why that is, first and foremost. So this is interesting. I decided to take the generator off of it. I don't know if my TPG is not working right, but we have something on the screen. It's very red. Let me set this over here for a minute. But that may be... Alright, that's my focus. It's just the screen. Look at that. That is awesome. So we just want to just barely get the red off of there. That's looking really good. Now one thing, we talked about those convergence rings. It might need to be adjusted a little bit. You can kind of see if I get close. See it, press start. Those are not aligning completely. So if I come around here, you can take these and kind of move them around and see how that kind of moves. That moves the blue. And then this one is the reds. So getting things to converge properly is the biggest pain in the butt. But I'll fool around a little bit with that, and then we will keep going. Alright, and Tutankham with the brand new monitor up and running. Let me turn the lights off, get a better look at just how good that looks. Colors need a little bit of work, and like I said, the convergence is probably not there just yet. A few minor adjustments to the monitor and we'll be good to go, but she's crisp and clean, no burning or anything, which is awesome. Nice.